Good evening, Thursday the 12th of November, and we've been doing some live vlogs on men's mental health, physical health, and tonight I'm going to be joined with Stuart Thomson. If Stuart eventually gets the notification and comes on live, we've been messing about with this tonight, trying to get it to work, and he's. I'm just waiting for Stuart. Stuart wants to be in your video. There we go. There's Stuart. Just adding Stuart in. Stuart Thomson. Stuart,
How you doing? You all right?
sound working all right?
Yes, I think it's all right now. The Wi-Fi is pretty horrendous here, so we'll see how it goes.
That's
We'll see
carry
how it
on.
goes. What's that?
Been some carry on, hasn't it?
Oh, I know. I'm not a techie type person, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes,
So
mate.
Stuart Thomson from Lanark, currently speaking to us from Holland,
Mhm. Yeah, currently
and
living in Amsterdam.
I started reading your blogs in the summer. I was reading your blogs in the summer, and I noticed that you had did a few blogs on mental health.
Mhm.
So I'm going to leave.
Hence the horrendous monstrosity in my upper lip right now.
That's my. There's my Movember. There's my
Right,
Movember.
looks good.
Why? Why are you not? They said to me, "Why are you not doing Movember?" And this is a whole other challenge. Stroke. Your friend Clark Burrell had said to me, "We're doing things that we really didn't like," and good old Clark, and he said we had to do things that we weren't comfortable with doing. And of course, I love shaving. I hate having a beard. I really, really
Aye.
do. And he said, right, well, you've to stop shaving then. So that was the challenge that he set me. So over to you to talk about men's health, mental health, and what it means for you.
Um, so mental health for me has always been this kind of weird subject, I guess, it's just a bit strange, and I guess it's different for everybody. My problems, I guess, with mental health started about 5 years ago.
Uh
Um,
huh.
not long after I'd finished uni, uh, and I started working. Basically, I was working full time, with the company that I did a placement with in my final year at university, and I got a couple of months into the job. Once I'd finished uni, more responsibilities, paying my own way, rent, all the rest of it, and um, I get landed with all these projects. And then the right thing for me to do was to, I guess, know my limits and say that's quite a lot of work for me. I'm not sure I'll be able to take that much on. I've already got a lot of work on at the minute. Um, but in my head, I was this fresh out of university, this graduate, ready to make a name for himself. So I was like, you know what, I can do that. I can absolutely do it. I can do these projects, no problem. And inside, I was like, it's going to be difficult, but I can. The pressure's on, but I'll persevere and I'll get through it. And a couple of months into the role, towards the end of the year, I started getting these weird, and it wasn't even in work. I mean, it didn't start off in work anyway, where I would just have these horrendous moments of like I just wanted the ground to open up and to just swallow me and to get out of all these situations and stuff. And for me, I didn't know at the time what was happening, but there were panic attacks, and I'd never had panic attacks before university. So um, yeah, like I just kind of got through them by the skin of my teeth, and I was vomiting and diarrhea, and I was sick for like a whole day, and it happened like once every couple of weeks or something. And I thought my stomach's something all right with my stomach. I keep getting these like spells of vomiting and feeling really nauseous and just feeling horrendous. And it went by, and then it was once every week, and then it was like a couple of times a week, and then it was every day, and it got to the point where I was like waking up in the morning, getting ready to go to work, going, I feel like I'm going to throw up. I can't even get in the car. I can't leave the house or nothing. And
Sounds really.
oh, it was horrible, man. Like it was just this horrendous feeling where because it was confused, I'd never experienced this kind of thing before, and I just put it down to some kind of sickness, like a physical condition. It was my stomach. It was IBS, or I don't know. Like I just kind of assumed that it was something physical.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd been speaking to my girlfriend and my flatmates at the time, and my mum and dad, and they were like, "Oh yeah, well you should see a doctor about this. You keep throwing up," and I wasn't telling them that I was like really pressured at work or um, that I was stressed out and all this carry on. But I did go and see the doctor, and she was like, "Ah, right, okay, it sounds like you've got anxiety," and I was like, "Anxiety? What? As in like a mental health thing?" Because it hadn't really crossed my mind at all. Um, and she said, okay, like let's how often do you exercise? Okay, try going out maybe a couple of times a week instead of once every couple of weeks. Running or exercising, you do yoga, look into meditating and all this stuff. And I started doing all the kind of like meditating and trying to go for runs and things like that and get exercising, and it was just getting worse. Like it wasn't doing anything at all for me. Um, so I was in a really bad place, and thankfully, like the first time that I went to the doctor about this, there was no mention of medication, which is great. Like if you try and get through the symptoms of these mental health conditions naturally, then that's absolutely brilliant. Like good on you. Um, but I absolutely praise the people that I feel like there's no choice and they have to go down the route of medication. If I didn't start taking medication, I don't know where I'd be. Um, I think it
So
did take me.
how long ago was that, Stuart?
It was towards the end of 2015, so it was about 5 years ago just now.
Okay.
Um,
So
yeah, so
you
I've
went
been.
patient route. You went pharmacological.
Yeah, like briefly, but since then, that was 5 years ago, and I'm still kind of on medication and stuff. Um, but I also do lots of other stuff. I've got a plethora of different things that I do to work on my mental health on like a daily basis as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it did take medication to get me out of this really bad spell.
Got you.
So
It sounds
you know,
as if it
like
was for you.
say that again.
Sounds as if it was really helpful. The medication really helped you.
Yeah, absolutely. I I wouldn't say I owe my life to medication, but like I owe a lot to the medication that I started taking because, like I said, like if I hadn't taken that, I would have still. I don't know where I don't like to think where I would have been, but
And oh,
yeah,
do you think a lot of men have got a judgment on medication,
oh yeah,
or even
I,
going to the doctors and seeking help or guidance?
yeah, 100%. I mean, if I was suffering with, and I knew what it was, if I was suffering with like anxiety, panic attacks, and things like that, and I would be a lot I'd be a lot more nervous about speaking to a doctor or a stranger and things like that. So for me, because I thought it was something physical, I thought, well, I need to go and see the doctor because this isn't normal.
Mm.
And luckily enough, when I spoke to the doctor, and she was like, look, I think you're going through kind of anxiety at the minute. Work sounds a bit weird and kind of stressful, and um, yeah, I ended up like seeing a therapist and things like that at the time. Um, and it was just like, yeah, like
How did you
if
how did you find, how did you find getting into a therapeutic alliance?
um, yeah, like more benefit. The thing is, the more people I told about what was going on with inside my head, well, as best I could describe it at the time, the more people I told, the lighter I became. Like the more kind of, all right, this is quite normal, or okay, they know that I'm about to have a panic attack, so therefore I don't panic as much. And it was just
Yep.
this weird thing, and that's what led me to about a year ago, like starting to write a blog because the more people I tell, like I tell my boss at work, and I tell my colleagues, and like, yeah, I went through a pretty bad time and anxiety. I still have a wee bit of anxiety now and then, and blah blah blah. And before you know it, like people are opening up back to you and being like, I was really depressed a few years ago actually, and I'm on medication as well. And you just don't know how normal it is until you speak to more people about it. Um, in a weird kind of backward way, I feel quite privileged to have gone through such a horrendous uh, stage or phase in my life, because it's allowed me to talk to people, and it's helped me to open up as well. And in opening up to a stranger, that might be the push that they need to open up themselves, which
Yeah.
is only well, I suppose not for it's not for everyone, like being uh, opening up how you're feeling about things and stuff. But I mean, it's a positive thing. If you've never opened up to someone about your feelings and and you're hiding things, it's only going to be negative for you, you know. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, that's my kind of experience. Is the more I opened up to people, the more comfortable I felt. So in a selfish way, I did it for myself. I opened up so
So
that I felt better, you know.
it was almost like the more you named it, the more you tamed it.
Yeah, yeah. Like your man that was on the other day, Kevin. He was like, I like labels. I need labels in my life to be able to cope with these kind of things, and I resonated with that quite a bit because labeling
Okay.
my anxiety is like that's what it is. That I don't know. It's just a weird thing where you're like, if you label something, I feel more comfortable with it, knowing exactly what it is I have. Before I knew what it was, I was really uncomfortable in my body and my self-esteem and confidence, and my whole mental health was just totally ruined. So in opening
So what
up,
age
it made me
would you have been 5 years ago when you came out of uni and started that job?
22. Yeah, but 22. Um, yeah, I was 22 when I
And
graduated. So.
how long did you endure the anxiety before you went to see the doctor? I'm interested to hear about that. How long you sat with it for?
Uh, well, the first panic attack I remember would have been about the start of August. So I graduated in like June, whatever it was. In August, I remember my first kind of panic attack happening. Um, and it wasn't until about November, so it was a couple of months where it was happening once every fortnight, and then it was happening once every week, and then it was happening at work and things like that where I had to like run to the toilet and stuff. So yeah, it was a couple of months, but it gradually, actually not gradually, it rapidly got like worse and worse and more frequent. Um, yeah, it was a couple of months. That
And what
was
medication did the doctor give you for that?
um Well, as I say, the first time I went, there was no mention of medication, which I think is a really, really good thing.
Yeah,
Just natural kind of ways of doing it. And then she suggested citalopram,
right.
which I was on for I think about a year or 2.5 years maybe. But it just it the I did my mental health did start to pick up along with doing all the other exercising and meditation and spending time in nature and things like that. As much as that helped,
You
it
wrote about that in one of your blogs that I read. You
yeah.
wrote about nature, the benefits of that for you.
Uh, yeah, a couple of years ago, I took on a postgraduate degree in outdoor education,
Uh huh.
um, and in doing some of the essays and stuff, like researching, I was really, really interested in how nature plays a massive, massive part on your mental health and your calmness and things like that. That's why so many people meditate like outside in the forest and stuff, because it's quiet, it's peaceful, it's you can feel more without sounding too hippy dippy, like it's you feel at one with nature, you know, and
What's wrong with being hippy dippy?
nothing at all, man, nothing at all. Um, no, but like yeah, like spending time in nature is it's probably one of the best things um you can do apart from like talking about things, talking to people. One of the next best things is about spending time in nature. Or as Wim
The thing,
Hof says in the poll.
what you can find is that when you like, I think such a value in the 12-step program, and I've actually, I've actually had as much success, if not probably more success, with the 12-step program, utilizing it in mental health. A lot of people, when they come into the fellowship through alcohol or drugs, they struggle with a lot of the 12-step model, especially the God of your understanding word, right? But
Mhm.
I eat and breathe and sleep the steps. I think they're fantastic. But what you find is when you get into any kind of fellowship, which in actual fact, it's like the laugh is that for me, a fellowship shouldn't be contained to a 12-step program, or indeed a tribe of hoffers or whatever. We're all a fellowship on this planet, but you're either a sect of Church of Scotland fellowship, 12-step fellowship, Hoff fellowship,
Yeah,
and more and more separation. But anyway, I'm digressing. But when you get into a fellowship meeting and you hear people and the behaviour, like what they used to do, like I've had so many people really phoned me since Kevin's share on live, and like, I'm doing
yeah,
that, I done that. And I thought I was the only person. I thought I was the only person that had whiskey in the bathroom cupboard. But, on mental health, when we actually get into a fellowship like what we're doing right now, and we start to talk about
yeah.
anxiety.
That it's why I feel like it's so important, not just for men's mental health, like mental health in general, to be able to speak up about these kind of things. It normalizes it, and if it helps one person realize, hang on, this is not unique to me at all. Like so many thousands, millions of people go through this throughout the world. You're not alone, and there's always a huge diverse population of support out there ready to listen to you and to help you. Absolutely, and that's what I found when I as soon as I opened up to one person, I was like, I feel great. I feel way better than I did before I spoke to that person. So yeah, speaking up about it is
So some of,
is
so some of the ways that you're managing it is meditation, nature. Tell us a bit more about nature, that postgraduate. I'm really interested in it.
um yeah, like so I start Weston Lodge.
Yeah.
Aye, right. So I towards the end of 2015, I'd been off work for about a month, and there was a cut in subsidies for small wind turbines, right? And it meant that all our projects were pretty much out the window. And the boss called me, I think it was at the start of December, and he was like, "Look, if you were in the office, we would have probably had to make you redundant about a month ago. Um, so, you know, like we're gonna have to make you redundant." And I ended the phone call and was like, yes, I don't have to go into that office again. Um, like as much as I miss the kind of job, if the boss is watching, like I really enjoyed the job, but it was good to not have to go back into that office that had connotations of of nervous and feeling overwhelmed and things like that. But anyway, I finished that job, and in January I started looking for other jobs and ended up going through this a kind of young person's through the job centre. They had this youth work, age 16 to 25 or something, and it was at Weston Lodge, being the grounds one of the grounds team, and I thought that would be great. So I ended up working there and found that my mental health like massively improved, just from spending times in nature, and I love like cutting grass and cutting down trees and stuff like that. So that was like a massive step forward of like I should do something outdoorsy. Like I've always loved being outdoors and like caring for the garden and doing all this kind of stuff. Um, and I want to keep my environmental degree like quite relevant. So I found this Edinburgh Uni course that was outdoor environmental and sustainability education, which a lot of my family were like, so upper class bin man, is that about right? So I started this course, and it was inspiring. Like it was absolutely amazing how you can pass on knowledge about uh, about nature, and it's just like this. I don't know. It was just like it was an unforgettable experience. One of the modules you spent a week on the Isle of Rum, in this kind of bothy with I think there was about 20 of us from on the course, and you go up the rum cooling at about midnight, and it's pitch black, and you've got your head torches on, and I can't remember the name of this species of bird, but you're in amongst it, and the moon is like shining down, and you're at the top of this mountain with pretty much strangers. And bearing in mind, this is a time where my anxiety was pretty bad, and I felt better than I think I've ever felt in my life. Like it was just this
Amazing.
amazing experience where I felt connected with all the people that I was there with, even though I'd only met them like 2 days before. I made like friends for life that I still kind of talk to some of the people as well. And for me, it wasn't necessarily about learning how to educate children about nature. It was just this experience that I went on where I found kinship with loads of like-minded
Yeah.
people. It was just amazing. Um, so yeah, I kind of
Children now, don't you? You work in a
I work in a preschool, a daycare, in Amsterdam, and yeah, I love it. Like me and my girlfriend moved down to Reading to.
you do a lot of outdoor stuff with the kids.
Aye, well, the best thing about this nursery is they're like rain, sun, snow, sleet, whatever it is, we're outside at least once a day,
Great.
regardless of how it is, we're outside. And I immediately saw that and was like, I want to work there. That sounds class. So yeah, that's been over a year and a bit that I've been working, wiping kids' bums and stuff, and it's great.
Great.
It's really really good fun. I love it.
Good. Great. And we had a really good time in the summer with Kit. You were only home for a few weeks, weren't you?
Yeah, yeah, back in May. I think it was about May. It was around the time of my birthday actually. Um,
Hey,
aye.
goodness, where's time?
No, fine. No, uh, I'm pretty sure that was around the time of my birthday. I'm sure it was.
So do you find blogging about mental health helpful for you?
Uh, yeah. I mean, it's when I write something out and it's pretty natural. Like I don't really go back and edit too much. Maybe some grammar mistakes or whatever. But the content I kind of try and keep it as natural as possible. It's when I publish it and then I'm like, right, I've just shared like I had a bit of a bad spell where I was crying and stuff. When was that actually? I think it was at the end of September, where I was coming. I'd just been home for 2 weeks, and I was coming back to Amsterdam, and I was a mess. Like I was just really really sad and missed home and stuff like that. And I put up a post being like about crying and how this male masculinity thing is an absolute joke. Like
Yeah,
I'm a
that's
grown man and I'm crying my eyes out. I'm weeping like a baby, and I like wrote all this stuff down and I posted it, and then I was like, that might help somebody. That might help one person like get rid of all these emotions that they've been bottling up and stuff, and that might really help someone. So I felt amazing when I posted that. The writing it is just kind of it's just what's in my head, you know. Um, so yeah, I find
what's
it massively helpful.
name your blog for people that are listening,
So
or
it's
will we
called
pop?
it's Beef's Blethers.
That's
So
beef.
my nickname is Beef, and for anybody watching that knows my name's Beef, they're probably sick of the amount of times I've had to tell the story. It's a really, really short story. It's basically my name's Stuart, and a normal nickname for Stuart would be like Stu or Stew. And I think when I was like 2 or 3, my brother was like, "Oh, we should call him Beef, like like a beef stew." And then it just kind of stuck. Like I had teachers and all that calling me Beef, and yeah,
So
everybody
your
kind of
beef
knows me as Beef.
blogger.
So it's Beef's Blethers. It's just for the word of the mouth of beef. But I really, really enjoy like it's a bit like journaling because I've heard so many people talking about having a gratitude journal. So at the end of the day,
Yeah,
they'll say like, well, what did I enjoy about today? And then you get up in the morning and you write what am I grateful for in life, and it could be the milk from my Weetabix, or it could be the view outside my window, or it could be anything, you know. And it's just I get the same feeling of doing that as I do like writing my blogs and sharing how I feel or my story or my experiences, you know. I find it massively beneficial.
yeah.
Um,
I'm sure lots of other people do as well, Stuart.
yeah,
I'm not too comfortable with calling you beef, but we did. I
go
used
for
to
it.
live from you, when you were a wee guy, I think.
Yeah, you used to live in Waterloo Road.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. So when you were a wee guy, you probably used to walk past the house.
Because I know my sister, when we came down to the
Let's
Clyde,
not
my sister was there the first time, and she was like,
that
"Do you
online. It
recognise
sounds
him?"
really, really creepy.
I know it does, but no, that's not for anybody listening. That's not creepy at all. Um, uh, came to watch us down at the Clyde. All right. Are you're still keeping up with the cold water then?
Yeah, that's I started it in February 2019, and I've been doing it pretty much every day for over a year. And
Nice.
yeah, yeah, I must admit, and I'm doing it. I'm doing it in a group. I'm hanging loose in a group, but I I think I prefer. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoy doing it myself.
Mhm.
I do enjoy the guys and I enjoy the company and I'm very grateful for the company and I'm very grateful for the connections we've made. But
Mhm.
there's something I kind of like about going and doing it on my own.
Yeah,
And like last night, we walked the loop, the courthouse loop,
the co-host, sorry.
and,
Yeah.
and it was a great excuse for me to get my new head torch out because I've been getting ridiculed when I'm going out in the mountains with my old head torch, right? Because they're like that's for camping, Ross, and you can't see very much. But well, when I was getting away from them and I was turning my camera off, and I really love scrambling through the woods in the dark. Like, as weird as that may sound, and I think I've kind of befriended the dark. Does that make sense? I've kind of
No,
befriended the
that's
dark. But,
aye.
like as a kid, it can daunt you. The darkness can be quite scary as a kid. But
No,
I've
sometimes as an
certainly turned.
adult as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm still doing it, Stuart. And yeah, it all works well. We've all got our stuff that we do to keep ourselves,
Mhm.
strong and mentally strong. So, listen, thank you very much for sharing your story on anxiety.
That's all
And
right.
if anybody wants, because that was, I read your blogs after I met you, and it's Beef's Blethers. Beef
Yeah.
Leather on blog. Yeah. So
Beef
listen, thanks
Leather,
for your time and sharing your
That's
story
all right.
today and on Movember.
Yeah. Yeah. But anybody that is watching, like, feel free to, if you're uncomfortable talking to a doctor or to someone you know, and you don't really know me, like, my email box is always open to, or my phone's even. I think I put my phone number on the Beast Brothers thing as well. Actually, if anyone's really struggling, just there's no shame at all in opening up. Mental health is probably the most common thing on earth. Probably more common than muck. Everybody goes through some kind of mental health problem at some point in their life, I think. So don't hide it. Don't bottle it up and be scared of speaking out for fear of being judged. Because no one judges you for it. Nobody judges you for it. And if they do judge you, tell them to sling their hook. Tell them to
Yeah,
bugger off. Because they're not worth
absolutely.
it a minute of your time.
They're not worth. They're not deserving of your time.
Yeah. And get into the cold. Get into the cold shower.
Yeah.
Shout out to Wim
And
Hof.
absolutely, nature's our nurture, nurture's our nature, and I think that's a fantastic thing. It sounds like a great. I must talk to you more about your postgraduate in
Please do.
nature
Please do.
studies.
Yeah.
But listen, all the best.
Listen.
Give my warmest regards to Holland.
I will do.
And
I'll,
next time we'll get some water time. And tell your
yeah,
sister says in a non-creepy way.
I'll do. Christmas Day in the morning. I'll see you down at the Clyde.
Christmas Day, we're all getting together. Christmas Day, but we probably shouldn't broadcast that right now. We're locked down.
What did you say? I didn't hear you. Did you say something there? You broke out a
Right?
wee bit.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Time.
Take
All the
care, mate.
best.
All the best. Cheers.
Care.
Thanks for